Welcome back to English from A to Z.
Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into something really useful, vocabulary that is personal and, well, absolutely essential.
That's right. We're talking about how to describe the place you call home.
Exactly. Whether you're making plans with a friend or just, getting to know someone, talking about your house or your apartment is something we all do.
Right. And our mission today is to give you a shortcut, not just to learn the words, but to use them in a way that sounds really natural and, well, articulate.
This is so much more than just a list of furniture. We're going to get into some of the adjectives, the functional language that really makes your description interesting.
Okay, so let's get started. The first, most basic choice that really defines everything is, do you live in a house or an apartment?
That one simple question, and right away we're talking about two totally different lifestyles. For me, I live in an apartment,
An apartment.
or as some people call it, a flat.
Oh, that's a great point already. A regional difference. So if you're speaking British English, you might say flat.
But in the U.S., it's almost always an apartment. So tell us about yours.
Mine's, it's a medium size, but the key is really its location. It's right in the center of the city.
Okay, center of the city,
I'm on the fourth floor, which is amazing for the view.
fourth floor. So lots of stairs.
Well, I don't even have to think about them because thankfully there's an elevator.
Ah, that is convenient. Living in the center means everything is right there. Shops, transport,
Exactly. But there's a trade-off, isn't there?
for sure.
And that is
The noise. My apartment is quite noisy because I live very near a busy street.
a busy street. Right.
You hear the constant sound of cars and buses.
Yeah.
It's just, the sound of the city.
So, key vocabulary right there. A busy street makes for a noisy environment. My situation is the complete opposite. I live in a house.
A house. Okay, so a different experience. Is it a big house? I always think that means more work.
It's actually a small house, but the feature I love the most is the garden.
Ah, the garden.
That's the key difference. I have a space with grass and flowers, a small tree.
And I bet it's quiet.
It is so quiet. It's a really good contrast. Your street is noisy, but my street is very peaceful, very quiet.
That is a perfect contrast for our listeners. City life can be noisy and convenient, while a house can be quiet with more space. Okay, so let's go inside.
Yeah, let's do it. When you walk in, what's the first room you see? Usually it's the living room.
The living room, the heart of the home where you relax.
And the most important vocabulary here is all about, well, sitting down.
For sure. The main thing is the sofa, or again, some people might call it a couch.
Right.
Mine is a big gray sofa.
Oh.
It's very comfortable. That's where I sit to watch TV.
And the TV, where is it? Is it on a stand?
No, it's actually on the wall. And right in front of the sofa, I have a coffee table.
A coffee table, of course.
It's essential. That's where I put my cup of tea, my book.
I have those things too, but I also have an armchair. For you, the listener, an armchair is a big, soft chair just for one person. It usually has arms, which is where it gets its name.
A very key piece of furniture. Where do you have yours?
It's right next to a big window, which is perfect because the afternoon sun comes in. It creates this little, what we call a reading nook.
A reading nook. I love that.
Just a really comfortable little corner.
And that brings us to a fantastic adjective.
Yeah.
Cozy. Your reading nook sounds very cozy.
It is. Cozy just means warm and comfortable, right? But it's more than that. It's a feeling.
It is an emotion, a feeling of safety and comfort. It's a great word to learn. Now, what about decoration? Do you have plants?
I do. I have two small green plants, but I have to admit I sometimes forget to water them.
Uh-huh. That's a very common problem.
It's a struggle.
I have lots of plants. I love having nature inside. I've got a really big plant in the corner of the room. It's
Yeah.
nice decoration.
That's a great idea, using a plant to fill a corner space. Now, speaking of things that take some effort, let's move to the room that always needs cleaning.
Ah, the kitchen. Oh, my favorite room because, well, that's where the food is.
It's the engine room of the house, for sure. So is your kitchen small and modern, or is it a big kitchen?
Mine is pretty small, but it's very modern, and the key vocabulary here is all about the appliances.
Right. Every kitchen needs what, three main things?
I think so. You need a fridge, refrigerator to keep food cold.
Milk, cheese, vegetables. Got it.
You need a stove for cooking on top. And if you like to bake, you need an oven.
Do you cook a lot?
I do. I
Yeah.
love to cook. I make a lot of pasta. I try to make pizza sometimes.
Oh, nice.
My kitchen is actually quite big enough that I have a large round table right in the middle. It's great for family dinners.
A round table is so good for conversation. But if your kitchen is small, like mine, you just eat in the living room, it's not a problem.
Exactly. Now let's use the kitchen to practice some really useful opposite words. Is your kitchen usually messy or tidy?
Ooh, good question. First, let's define those. Messy means it's not organized. Things might be dirty, plates everywhere, kind of chaotic.
And tidy is the opposite.
Yeah.
It means clean and organized. Everything is in its place.
Okay, so my kitchen is usually tidy. I try, but I have to be honest, after I cook a big dinner,
It gets messy.
it gets very messy. Flour on the counter, pots and pans everywhere.
I understand that completely. And then you have to deal with the dishes, which is so boring if you wash them by hand.
This is why the dishwasher is maybe the best appliance ever invented. Do you have one?
I don't. I wash everything by hand, and it can take a long time.
Oh, no.
But, it's a perfect time to practice your listening skills. I
Yeah.
listen to podcasts, maybe even a certain English deep dive while I do the dishes.
That's a brilliant tip. Listening to English while you do chores makes the time go much faster. Okay, from the public spaces to the private ones, let's talk about the bathroom.
The bathroom is simple, but the key question is always about how you wash. Do you have a quick shower or a relaxing bathtub?
No. I have a shower. For me, it's just quick and easy, especially in the morning. I don't have space for a bathtub.
See, I have a bathtub, and I agree, it feels like a luxury. It's so nice to relax in hot water after a long week. It's really about efficiency versus relaxation.
Definitely. What else is essential in a bathroom?
Well, you need a sink to wash your hands, and usually above the sink you have a mirror.
Right, for brushing your teeth.
Exactly. My bathroom's pretty small. It has white tiles on the wall, and I try to keep it very clean. That's always an important word for a bathroom.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, now for what might be the most important room for our well-being, the bedroom. The atmosphere is everything.
It really is. My bedroom walls are blue, which I find is a very relaxing color. And it's quiet. That's so important for good sleep.
Let's talk about the essentials for sleep.
Okay, so I have a double bed, and it's very soft. And I have two big pillows. For me, the pillows are maybe the most important part.
They really are. Now, the universal problem, clothes. Where do you keep all your clothes?
I have a wardrobe. So that's a piece of furniture where I can hang my shirts and jackets.
In the US, if it's built into the wall, people often call it a closet.
Right, a closet. Same idea. It's for storage.
And I'm gonna guess your wardrobe is very full.
You would be correct. It's overflowing. I have too many clothes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Always. Now, what about light? You don't want bright light in the bedroom when you're trying to sleep.
No, absolutely not. I have a small lamp on my bedside table. That's the little table right next to the bed.
For your phone and a book?
Precisely. And I prefer soft light. It's much better than bright, harsh light when you're trying to relax.
Soft light helps create that cozy feeling again. Before we leave the bedroom, let's talk about the floor.
Good idea. I have wood floors. They look great, but they can be a bit cold in the morning.
So what's the solution for cold feet?
A rug. For our listeners, a rug is like a small carpet. I have one right next to my bed, so it's soft and warm for my feet.
That's smart. My bedroom has carpet, which is wall to wall. It's warm in the winter, which is really nice.
Carpet is very cozy. So we've walked through the whole home, looking at the nouns and the adjectives that give them life.
And now let's connect everything back to that first big difference we talked about, because this is where the outside spaces come in.
The house versus the apartment? The apartment often has a balcony. You use yours, right?
I do. It's small, but it's my little window to the world. I go out there with my coffee in the morning and just look at the city. You see the street, people walking.
A view of the city.
Yeah. But the house has the garden. That's the vocabulary difference.
It is. Instead of looking down at the street, I can sit in a chair right on the grass. So the simplest way to think about it is an apartment might have a balcony, a house might have a garden.
That's a perfect way to put it. And whether you've got a balcony or a garden, home is that place where you feel safe and happy.
And most importantly, where you keep your coffee.
The most essential item, of course. Okay, let's do a quick synthesis, a quick review to help all this stick.
Let's tie it all together. First, the two types of homes. The house, which often has more space, and a garden.
And the apartment or flat, which often has city convenience and a balcony.
Then the rooms. The living room is for relaxing. Try to make a sentence like, my living room is so cozy because my sofa is very comfortable.
The kitchen is for cooking. You could say, my kitchen is usually tidy, but it gets very messy after I make dinner.
The bathroom. Remember the quick shower versus the relaxing bathtub. And always try to keep it clean.
And finally, the bedroom for rest. You want it to be quiet. You have your bed, your pillows, and a wardrobe for your clothes.
And let's not forget those key adjectives. Remember the pairs. Noisy versus quiet.
Messy versus tidy.
And that wonderful word that describes a feeling. Cozy.
So now you have all the words you need. Instead of just saying, I live in a house, you can say something much more interesting.
You could say, I live in a small, quiet house with a lovely garden. It just sounds so much better.
Or for an apartment, instead of just, I have an apartment, you can say, my modern apartment is on the 4th floor. The street is a little noisy, but it's very convenient.
Using those describing words just makes your English sound so much more fluent.
Absolutely. This deep dive should give you the confidence you need for this very common conversation. But before we go, we have a little challenge for you, our listener.
Yes, we do. This is your chance to practice. We want to know about your home. So, first question. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
And second, what is your favorite room? Is it your kitchen, your bedroom, or the living room?
And don't just tell us the name of the room. Tell us why. Use the adjectives we learned today.
Maybe you have a cozy armchair, or maybe your kitchen is very modern and tidy.
Try to write down 2 or 3 sentences describing your home. Using the new vocabulary is the absolute best way to make it part of your memory.
We really hope this deep dive helps you feel more confident talking about the place you call home.
Thank you so much for exploring all this vocabulary with us.
We'll see you next time.